Okay, so with this, let's get into one more superpower of the React, which is actually called conditional rendering. And if you remember, I told you this is the difference when it comes to normal HTML and React. React is also producing HTML. Fine, all that is fine. I am able to pass the props. So what? Still you're hard coding, kind of hard coding. You're able to pass the data from one to another. Fine. At the end, when I'm displaying, it's the same value, correct? Now, this is where the React differs. Conditional rendering. You all know what is this word called rendering. Now, while I'm rendering, while I'm displaying something, I do use conditions. So what all we know as a condition? Okay, what all we know as a condition? What are conditions in JavaScript programming? Conditions are nothing but, okay, so the if condition, else condition, isn't it? We have got ternary operator, which will do like, okay, if the expression is true, then display the first value, otherwise take the second value. We know switch statement also, correct? If condition, switch statement we know, ternary operator we know. So in JavaScript, we don't have like an if else syntax. Yeah, I mean in React. So in React we don't have if else statement. We can have if statement. We can have a short circuit and operator we say. Yeah, this logical and operator we can use. And then we can use even this uh, ternary operator also for conditionally displaying something. Yeah. Okay. Let's see each of the syntax. So very important. So conditionally, how do I return JSX? So right now we are writing JSX simply like, okay, so on. So I'm returning everything which is there. But so based on some condition, how do I return a specific result? A best example is, let's see the output of this. So this is displaying spacesuit, helmet. Yeah. So now, so there is, if you see this, each of this item have a prop, is packed and name. Now, what we want to display, if is packed true for an item, we would like to display some tick mark that this is packed and this is not packed and this is packed. As simple as that. Okay, look at this example and then I think I'll give you my own example, simple examples to tell you. So in this case, the item component is very simple. It is just displaying li. Now I would like to display something based on this is packed. What I would like to display based on is packed. Then in that case, you know, I can use an if condition. If is true, sorry, is packed, which if it becomes true, then I would like to return, okay, let's say the same item is packed. Same item, but now I will put another hyphen saying packed. Because this item is packed, if it is packed. Otherwise it is not packed. Isn't it? Yeah. So this item is packed if it is packed. We got to consider adding error boundary. Okay, I think there's some syntax to it. Return, yeah, this is all fine. Okay, either one of them. Okay, so basically, so I can use an if condition to return this JSX or this JSX. Okay, we have an example, working example here. Let me just call down. So this is the same thing that they're adding. If is packed, then I would like to return some JSX. If I mean, if so, you all know that if this is not executed, then obviously this return will execute. So this syntax is more of like you returning multiple values, or you are writing more than one return statement, and based on the condition, one of the return will execute. You understand? So you can write. Now I was creating this component. Okay, so I am just trying to show the syntax. So kind of you want to display different output based on what? Based on the prop. And that's what is dynamic thing, right? What is there in like hard coding it? Yeah. So let's say this child 2 is displaying some data. So we'll try something. Okay. If name is equal to, name is equal to beta, which means what? It's a default value, correct? It's a default value. Then I would like to return, okay, div default value. If name is not beta, then it is going to display whatever value I passed. Do you get what I'm saying? I've written one condition. If, yeah, so you can think of like I'm totally returning a different JSX based on this condition. Okay, let's check if this is going to work or not. So for that, I am going to simply render what is there in child 2. See what you got? You got default value. Now let's say I pass name. And it's a string. You know that now. Okay. So because it's a string, I can directly write like this. See now, this is default value and this is child 2 alpha. Now both these are in the same component, which is child 2. Both the logic is in the same component. Now based on different use case, I am returning different JSX we are rendering. Or you can think of different UIM rendering. This is as simple as, I'll show you one real world use case only. For example, E is logged in true. Yeah, I would like to see, if he as user has logged in or not. Okay, so based on that, I would like to do something different. Yeah, so what is it? Now the prop name here, I'm getting E is logged in. I'm destructuring it and I'm writing here, if E is logged in, then I'll say, yeah, welcome. I'll display a welcome message. If not logged in, I'll display a different message, which is, okay, login first. See now, here I have not logged in, or that I have not passed even that prop. Now what I'm displaying? Login first. Yeah, just to tell you. I can write so much of logic, not just displaying this message. I can put a form itself. If the user is supposed to log in, so you all know that not just more than a string, I can write a form itself here. Or I can render one login form component itself. See, I can return a login form itself. I can go on writing login form when not logged in. If logged in, yeah, then I can hide that form. Now, do you see the usage of conditional rendering? And do you see the power of conditional rendering? How easy it is to show different view or a dynamic content based on based on the props. And this is so cool syntax. Okay, and this is all done using JavaScript. Okay, so this is the example for conditional rendering. So likewise, yeah, for a similar use case, we have options like, quaternary operator. We have options like logical and. We have options like, you know, conditionally returning nothing with null. Okay, there's an option also to, not to return anything. Basically, I don't want to return. Yeah, then I can say null. So these are the syntax you are supposed to learn with respect to the conditional rendering or conditionally returning JSX. And you will learn that these are the syntax which are possible actually. You cannot if else statement. If else statement will not work with JSX. JSX is not supported. And this is not, so I mean, so you will have to use AND operator. How will you use AND operator? Let me show you that syntax as well. So now you did is logged in, correct? So with if condition. Now let's say I'll show the same thing. Yeah, I'll show the same thing with an ampersand. So I would like to display this login form. I would like to display this login form. Let me add another field, another input. So two inputs are there. Okay, I can add even placeholder also. Okay, first name. Yeah, another placeholder, which is, let's say, last name. Actually, we are supposed to take name and email. So let me write like name, yeah, username and email. Because I am naming it as a login form. Okay, so taking first name, last name doesn't make sense. Now this is a login form. I would like to display this login form if and only if he is logged in is false. So you see the output, what I'm showing? I'm always showing the login form. But now I am showing you a syntax of how to show this div if not logged in. Instead of using if statement, I'm going to use now, what? A AND condition. So what is an AND condition? So this is an AND condition. So what exactly we have learned in JavaScript? This AND operator is going to find first falsy value. What we have learned? It is going to find the first falsy value. Correct? So we are actually saying we want to return a null here. So that's why, see what happens now. Did it work? Is logged in true. If it is logged in, there is no point in showing the form, correct? I've used this, empty tags, which are also called as fragment, if you remember. So you will have to use a curly bracket, and this syntax as a beginner you will find it lot confusing until unless you type. All this example what I'm showing you now, you have to literally sit and type. Don't expect that while watching itself you will be able to remember this bracket and all that. It's simple, yeah. We cannot return an empty element, yeah. So this bracket is also cannot be written. It will confuse with an object. So I'm using if not logged in, then display the form. So now it says logged in true, that's why it is not displaying the form. I'll say false. You see now, login form. How that login form got displayed? Is logged in. Is logged in what? False now. So negation of false become true. So if something is true, then it continues. That's how the AND operator works. If something is false, it won't even go to the next value. And this is called short circuit AND operator, which you already learned in JavaScript. Understood? How the AND operator works for conditionally displaying some JSX. Now the same thing can be converted for ternary syntax, which is nothing but here I use, okay, if he is logged in, I would like to display some div which is welcome. If not logged in, then I would like to display the form. Yeah, all I have done is I've converted into a ternary operator, and this parenthesis got added by itself. Yeah, this is again optional. If you have more than one, then you can add. Yeah, but otherwise while formatting it adds. I'll show you what exactly I did. So I put the same variable. I have used this curly bracket syntax because this is an expression to be evaluated. If it was not an expression, then curly bracket was not required. It has to be evaluated. And then using a ternary, if this is the case, if he is logged in, otherwise this is a case where I am displaying the whole thing. Always in React, yeah. So we kind of do a refactoring. We don't like having these things in, you know, like inline. So or maybe I would like to make it a simple one. I can say login form. I can create another component called login form. What do I do with login form? Yeah, so let me create a component called login form. And in the login form, I can return this JSX so that it becomes a separate component. You see, I didn't add the bracket. This is perfectly fine. It works, but then JSX will add that extra bracket now. So now you see, for you, the output will become, this is a login form. I've used the login form or this welcome instead of writing everything in JSX. Fine. Yeah. So now there is a deviation to the syntax. They're saying what if I don't want to write something? Then I can write something called null. Yeah. What is it? I can return what is called as null. In that case, the component itself is not displayed. Yeah. The syntax. So at times where you don't want to return anything. Okay. You don't want to write something. Then yeah, that component is not displayed. So since you're not logged in, you don't want to show the login button, let's say. In that case, you can return null. So this is what is another syntax you're seeing. Yeah, conditionally return nothing with null. If it's packed, I don't want to display anything. If it is not packed, I would like to display the item. Okay, so this is what actually is conditional rendering. Yeah, different syntax and examples and everything is given here. They've also given very important challenges. I told you this is your official resource. React.dev is official, and this is ever updated. Okay, it keeps updating. My content might be older. I might have not told you everything, but this they keep updating every release. As and when React is updated, they'll update it. New version is coming. This for sure they're going to update. So you should be familiar. You should be familiar with what and all they've covered here. So next time when you visit, you will become a lot more familiar. Oh, I've already read this. I've seen what is this example. All right. So I think I'll stop here. Yeah, I can even go up to rendering list. No, that's for okay now. Yeah. So be familiar with creating component, writing some JSX, yeah, to the HTML and passing things as a props to a component, the different syntaxes, and at the end you got conditional rendering. Okay, so do you have any questions? So I would like to say is morning. Let's take one variable which has is morning. So for here it will be true. Now I have a simple task to do. If morning, I would like to say hello good morning. Yeah, or I would click simply I want to say good morning. Otherwise simply hello. I got a task to do where I would like to show good morning if it is morning. If not morning, then I'll simply I would like to say hello. Okay. So how do I display first of all good morning? If this line is not there, I have to render or I have to return something from this component, and there I will have something a text called good morning. Correct? I'll have to write a component like this, and this is displaying good morning now. Now what if it is morning false? Tell me. Morning is false. I have to display this message. I have to display this message. For this message, I have a different JSX itself. Now, why we are saying JSX? Because JSX can contain more than one thing. Today, just to show, we have simple string, but this can be a form, this can be an image, this can be a page itself sometimes. But for simple example, we are showing here JSX, meaning along with the string, we are showing this elements also. Div. Now tell me, how do I display one of these return statement? I mean, at the same time, we cannot render both. So is it clear so far what I'm saying? So let's say if it is morning, I can write if is morning, then I can I just want to output as good morning. Any questions with this syntax? If is morning, then this div is displayed. If not morning, then this particular return statement gets executed. Just like in JavaScript, if at all I have two return statement, so as soon as I execute one of the return statement, the program terminates there. The function will exit, the function call will exit. Similar concept is working here. So, but with the help of if, I am able to write if statement. I can also write one more if statement. Let's say if, yeah, is afternoon. It's possible, okay, to return different JSX. Is morning false. Let's say const is afternoon. Yeah, here I would like to say instead of good morning, I would like to say good noon. So this is an example for conditionally rendering some JSX, but using if statements, purely if statements. This is almost like equal to else, but in React JSX we don't have else. This part is almost equal to else, because if none of this execute, then the last one is going to get executed. So is this clear? Any question with this?
Clear, sir.
Okay, this is clear now. Okay, let's
Sir,
now. Sorry.
in return statement, when use multiple words, what will be written?
Yeah, multiple words in the sense here you want to add something.
And
You're saying multiple tags.
yes,
Yeah, so we don't call them as tags because they are not. This is not an HTML. That is why I'm using this fancy word called JSX. It's actually a JSX. In that case, goes back to the same syntax. Goes back to the same syntax where you will put proper JSX. So you know how to write multiple elements. From the JSX rule, you understood. You should always return. You cannot return two elements. You should have written elements with common parent. Why I wrote another div? or I can even write this empty element which is called fragment. Can use any of this. Okay, now let's say I would like to display some button, login, or this is not login, let's say logout. And here it is button. See, JSX is strict. It's not like HTML. Now what is afternoon also I'll make them false. What are you getting now? This condition is false. This condition is false. Finally it displayed this. But here you don't have it like one liner, but you have multiple line. Since I have multiple line, as per the JSX rule, if you recall, we, we, we should have one common root element. That's why I added this. And here you can go on adding how many ever you want. Okay, yes, now.
Yes, next week.
Okay, so now if is understood. Now let's try the same thing. Yeah, let's try the same thing. So I'll comment out this app component. Yeah, so let's quickly write app. So export default app. Again, what I'm going to have, I'm going to have a simple div. Okay, say good morning. We'll take the same use case. Huh? Use case is very simple. That's why we'll take the same use case.
Okay.
So export default here. I should say function. See, good morning is displayed. If it is good morning, is morning, then it is good morning. Agree. But what if it is not a morning? What if it is not a morning? Or I would like to display, you know, okay, let's take instead of morning and afternoon, let's say E is logged in. This would be the best use case in this case. If user is logged in, then I would like to show, a button. What is that I would like to show? I would like to show a button which is called logout. If user is logged in, I would like to show a button called logout. But you see, in the JSX which I wrote, it is always showing logout, which is wrong. So that is where I'll use again the curly bracket. We can use curly bracket. We can use curly bracket to display what is the value of he is logged in, correct? If you remember, we said the other day we cannot, if at all we have to display boolean values, we have to put it in string. We cannot display boolean as a React children. So we'll have to put this curly bracket, as simple as you have to put this curly brackets to check this expression, to check this value. Now instead of using the ternary, I am displaying this. If E is logged in, then only I would like to display this button. I'm just formatting, that's why the code is becoming like bigger. You can write in 2 lines, that's fine. So next to this line, I put a backspace, I can write it in same line. If logged in, then display logout button. Okay, I can also write one more expression. If not logged in, I would like to display, this is also another common syntax, login button. Do you see the syntax? How I can use and. I'll change false to true. If true, So, so the way it works, it purely works how the ampersand works. If this is true, it will keep finding the next false value. If one of the values is false, then it will stop. That's how the AND works, AND operator works. Now I'm conditionally displaying these buttons, but using the AND operator. Any doubt in this? Did you understand how the AND is working?
Yes, understood.
Yeah. So I also told
Yes.
you another syntax here. This need not have to be a button. This can be component. In all the cases, we can have a JSX here, or it can be component. Yeah. That also one general form you think. This can be a component. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say in simple, yeah. Here, this can be, home page, and this can be login page. Okay, let me write that examples also for you. Okay, I'll just copy this part. I'm just showing you another version of this just to think bigger, huh? How this syntax actually helps. So I'll take again is logged in true. I'm saying just as an example. Okay, now let's say I have a login page. I don't want to always show login page. Yeah, I don't want to always show login page, but or I don't want to always show home page. Now imagine or imagine instead of imagining, let me create a separate component. Okay, login page. I'm making that component as login page. In that login page, this login page is there. And in case of home page, text, different text is there. Home page is there. So tomorrow you will all work on creating JSX for home page, login page. That will go here. Now based on the login condition, I would like to display one of this component. Sorry, I didn't write return, that's why the error is. And also I did not format. Now, how do I display conditionally? Again, I use the ampersand only. How? If logged in, then ampersand component. Now I am writing component. Which component I should write? Home page. See, home page I am displaying. Why? Because user has logged in. If user has not logged in, same syntax, not logged in, then that case login page. How do I check this true? I am making it false. Is this example clear? All I am saying is not just for simple hello world message. We can also use this for conditional rendering anything, not just the ampersand syntax. All the syntax of conditional rendering can be used for even rendering the whole component itself as conditionally. Clear? Not clear?
Yeah, got it, sir.
Yes.
Clear. Okay. Now the same thing, same example. I'll just tell you since you have both the examples are clear. Instead of writing two lines, we can combine this into one line. You know how the ternary operator works. Yeah. In the same line, I can write login page in same line, and this line I can comment it out, isn't it? I can comment it and I can use the ternary operator. This is how the ternary operator works. And just to check if it is working in both the case. See if it is true, then home page. If false, then login page. This exactly works like the ternary operator we have. But here, using this ternary, I am displaying something. Yeah, displaying different things. If it is so, then this page. If it is so, then something else. Not the same thing. Is this example also clear? Or you have some question?
Clear.
Okay. Okay. So these are the three syntax I have told you. For now, if you understand this much, I think this is more than enough. Yeah. Did I tell you anything apart from this? I think yes, I told you about what is called as null. But for now, you see this use cases. Null, you keep it as like, okay, that is one more thing you should know. Okay, I think if you're clear, yeah. So again, I've recorded all these things. So